Hi guys, welcome back. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, you can see that this is a new look. I'm not in my room, and why I'm not in my room is because I just purchased a new car. Well, it's not a brand new car, it's a used car, but it's my first car, so I call it a new car. So since I just purchased a new car, while it's still fresh in my brain, I wanted to make a video on how to purchase a used car. I was actually gonna make a different video this week, but it's still fresh in my brain, so I want to give you guys all the details on what I did and how I went about it. So just a quick background on the car that I purchased. It's a $2,000 car. Well, I bought it for $1,975, I should say. It was worth $3,600. No mechanical issues. It was some cosmetic issues. The car was so dirty when I bought it, you guys, and I had to go get it detailed and clean, and it's still like one or two stains they couldn't get out. But that's what you get for a $2,000 car. It's actually a 2010 Kia, good mileage. So today I'll just give you the details on the process of how I went about getting this car. When going through the process of trying to purchase a used car, the first thing you want to do, if you don't already have it, go get your license. Go get your license. I don't even care if you don't plan on buying a car or don't want to buy a car. You should still go ahead and go get your license, because you just never know. You never know when you gotta get behind the wheel. You just never know. I'm going to link the video below on how you can go ahead and obtain your license. It's really not a hard process. Very simple process. I'll link that video down below. The next thing you want to do is set a budget. Set a budget with any large purchase that you made, and I would consider a car a large purchase, even though it was only $2,000. Some people don't even have $2,000 in their savings, you know what I mean? So set a budget. For me personally, my budget was $4,000. Of course, you want to spend below what the top of your budget. So set a budget so that you can kind of narrow your search a little bit, which brings me down to my next point of narrowing down your search to the kind of cars that you're looking for. So what I did was, I knew that I was trying to get a used car for less than $4,000, and I only wanted it to last me for the next 2 to 3 years or so. So I know that I'm not really looking for nothing fancy or anything like that. I just wanted something with good mileage that can get me around. Nothing pretty or anything, even though I do have the most little adorable car. I will say it's an adorable little car. But I wasn't really looking based on looks. It was just about getting something that works mechanically and with good mileage. And one of the things I did is I went on Google and I looked up cars that can go for at least 250,000 miles. Because when you're purchasing a car cash for less than $4,000, it's probably gonna have over 100,000 miles. If it doesn't, then there's probably something wrong with it, unless you get it from like a tow yard or something. I don't know. But I looked it up and I found Kia Rios were one of it, Toyotas, Hondas, some Fords, some Chevys. It's several cars that can go for over 250,000 miles. So that's what I personally did to narrow down my search. And then also looking for good gas mileage, and this car has great gas mileage. After you've set your budget and narrowed down your search, the next thing you want to do is start looking. There's a variety of places that you can look for cars. Personally, I did not want to get a car from a dealership, because dealerships are tricksters, and me especially, knowing that I'm not super knowledgeable on cars. Honestly, before this whole process, I knew nothing about cars. It's very sad to be 25 years old and know nothing about cars. But I knew nothing about cars, so I actually was doing so much research, because like I said, with any large purchase, you want to just know what you're putting your money into, you know what I mean? So I took the time to like research cars. Like last week part of why I didn't make videos is because I was up like researching cars. So that was like a whole process. But I didn't want to buy a car from a dealership because I know they like to use their games on women, and I don't got time for it. I really don't. And if you are a woman too, especially if you're going to a dealership, I highly recommend, if you're not super knowledgeable about cars, enlist the help of someone. I personally had my coworker help me, and he was of great help because he knew about cars at least a good amount, and I know nothing, okay? So where I found this car was on Craigslist. Craigslist is a great source for like private sales. Dealerships and auction houses and stuff like that also post on Craigslist. But if you're trying to get like a private sale, Craigslist is sometimes the best place because a lot of the people who are serious on Craigslist who post cars, they're looking to get rid of it right away. So if you can give them like a solid offer, or even if it's like not that much, like your best bet to get a affordable car and meet your budget, if you're trying to get like a $2,000 car or something, is Craigslist. The other thing is Facebook. Facebook kind of works like Craigslist a little bit, and the good thing too with Facebook is you can actually see the people who are selling the cars. Another place you can go for cars is auctions. I haven't used an auction, but I've known people who have, and some of them has gotten good deals, some of them not so good. So when you're buying a used car, it's really like a 50-50. No, not really a 50-50, but it's really like you never really know. I mean, even with some new cars, you just never really know. But at least with a new car, it comes with warranty. But with a used car, it doesn't. But auctions are a good place to look as well. And as far as like looking on online sites specifically to cars, CarGuru and Edmunds are really good. If you're looking for something where you want like a 3-day warranty or a 7-day warranty or something, a dealership is probably best. If you're buying a certified pre-owned car, then dealerships of course are good for that. But if you're buying a car outright cash, I just recommend getting it through a private sale. It's just like, do your research. Like, do research with anything that you're spending a large sum of money. Do research. I can't stress that enough, okay? The next thing you want to do is price the car, and what I used to do that was Kelley Blue Book. Why you would want to price the car is to get into my next step, is to negotiate. So this car was actually priced on Craigslist at $3,000. I looked it up on Kelley's Blue Book. It said $1,800 to $3,600, and my coworker said to offer him like $1,600. So I made that offer, and then he dropped it down to like $2,400 or something, or was it $2,500? I have to look back in my messages. And then I said, okay, I got $1,800. And then he dropped it down to like $2,200. I was like, okay, all I got is $19. And then he was like, $2,000 is my final price. I was like, okay, I'm sold. I am sold. And some of you may be wondering, how are you negotiating a price and you didn't even see the car yet? That's just how I chose to go about my car shopping. You don't have to use this order of things that I did to do it. You can actually go see the car before negotiating. But for me, this car on Craigslist, it was all the way out in Pomona, and like in traffic going out to Pomona is like 2 hours. I'm not going 2 hours if we ain't negotiate the prices and I didn't ask questions about this car, okay? I was not about to do that. So I did my negotiations beforehand. But you can actually, if the car is like close by to where you are, then you can go view the car first before negotiating. But sometimes it just saves you time to just negotiate first and see how low they're willing to drop. And then you can go and actually like renegotiate, which is what I end up doing, which is why I got it for $19.75. After I negotiated and got him to drop it from $3,000 to $2,000, that's when I said, okay, I'll come check out the car. And so I went to go check out the car all the way out in Pomona. Okay, it was like 2 hours to get out there in this like Southern California traffic. It is ridiculous, you guys. The traffic is ridiculous. Now, if you're like me and you don't know too much about cars, then you definitely want to bring someone who knows about car. You can bring a mechanic. It might cost you $100 or more, or you can do what I did. I just brought someone who knew about cars, which was my coworker that helped me. So he came with me to go check out the car. So he did the test drive while I was in the car, of course. Did the test drive, checked the brakes, made sure the engine was good, make sure everything was good. We did notice that there needed to be like an oil change. So things like that. Have someone come check out the car. The mechanic can actually do a pre-inspection for you. So if you want to pay a mechanic, you can. I recommend that. I think it's kind of bad that I didn't use a mechanic. However, I go off vibes and I felt like the car was okay, and so far I've been proven right. So that's why I didn't bring like a certified mechanic. But honestly, I feel like as long as you bring someone who has a good amount of knowledge on cars, then it's okay. When you're checking out the car, make sure that they have the title for the car. Some people will try to sell cars that they still have a loan on or something like that, like a car note. So make sure that they actually have the title in hand and it's not owned by the banks or anything. You don't want to get into those problems. Also, make sure to ask any question that you have. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Remember that you're putting your money into this, and normally, like especially in a private sale, once you buy that car, it's your car, and whatever is wrong with it is your problem. So just please make sure that you ask any questions you have. Make sure that they have the title, it's in their name. Make sure all of that is good before you even exchange cash or anything like that. After I checked out the car, even though I did like the car, I went home without it because number one, I didn't actually bring the cash with me that day, and number two, I actually wanted to sleep on it first before purchasing, because sometimes you sleep on things, you might like it, but then the next day you're like, oh, I was tripping. But the next day I thought everything was good. I actually ran a vehicle report. I forgot to mention, you need to run a vehicle report before purchasing the car. You can do that before you go check out the car or after. It's really up to you. I did it after I went to check out the car. It can tell you things like if it has salvage title. Sometimes it'll give you how many miles it has at the last like checkpoint or whatever. It'll tell you if the car was stolen. I know, like with my car, I definitely needed that vehicle report because the guy that I bought the car from, he's like his hustle seems to be buying cars from tow yards and then selling it. So this car was actually bought through a lien sale. A lien sale. I'm sorry, I forgot. Americans say lien. I say lien, but Americans say lien, so we're gonna go with lien right now though. Okay, so I purchased this car in those lien sales or whatever, or those lien sales for Americans. And so he bought it from the tow yard when the car got repossessed, basically, from the previous owner. So then the tow yard owned it. Then he bought it from the tow yard, didn't even register it in his name, then sold it, basically. And I feel like he does that for like a living, which is fine. I mean, hey, if you buy it for cheap and you want to sell it for a little more, who am I? But I will say the vehicle report doesn't tell you that. So make sure like you check out the title and see what it says, and make sure everything is on the up and up. The next thing I did after that was I went back to Pomona the next day, and I went to take a second look at the car, and then I went to purchase it. And then while I was about to purchase it, he had let us know that the keys for the door doesn't work. So now he was basically telling me I have to like get keys made for the door, like when I was there. Now the only reason I still went through with the purchase is because I felt good vibes from him, like the car was okay. Now I will say, prior to me getting the car registered, I was very scared, but everything worked out. So I actually had to get keys made, and that's why I got like a $25 discount off the $2,000 that we originally agreed on. I really should have got the car for like $1,900, but that's a story for another day. So yeah, make sure that you ask all the questions and renegotiate if you have to. That's basically what I did when I went. Then I purchased the car. Well, I had him give me the title first, sign over the title to me, and then I gave him the cash and the deal was done. It's really that simple, but not really simple. It's just a lot of details that kind of go into the simple steps. Now, if you purchase the car from like a dealership, they'll do the paperwork stuff for you. But if you purchase it from a private sale like I did, then you have to do the paperwork yourself. So I had to go do the registration myself. When I went for registration, they told me I had to go get a smog check, because out here in California they do smogs. I had to go get a smog check. But the thing that I did not know prior to purchasing the car, I should say, is that the seller is responsible for doing the smog check. So the seller of this car didn't do the smog check, so then I had to go pay to do the smog check. That was an extra $50. So I had to pay and do a smog check. But everything was good. Like I said, everything on the vehicle was good. Since I bought it, the only things I've done is I cleaned it. Well, I got the detail shop to clean it. I did an oil change. I still have to get my passenger side mirror fixed. It came broken. That's what you get for a $2,000 car. Oh, I also forgot to mention is make sure, you know, they sign the bill of sale or whatever. It's called a pink slip, I believe. Yeah, so sign the bill of sale, sign the title, make sure everything is good, make sure the name spelling is okay, because the DMV will send you back. I didn't have any of those problems. And when I went to register the vehicle, I had to get new license plates because it was a lien sale. So I had to get new license plates. Now, if you're purchasing a car through a dealership and you're trying to like finance it or something, I personally don't know how to advise you on that, because I am completely against financing cars. Anything material that isn't gonna make you money, I'm against financing it. So things like cars, furniture, cell phones, things like that, you'll never hear me trying to give advice on how to do that. I can say my used car purchase was a success, because I've been driving the car this week, and I know I was so scared to drive, but it actually all worked out great. I've been driving the past week to work, and the car drives great. I haven't had any problems. The gas mileage is great. Everything is great. So I highly recommend buying used cars until you get to a wealth level that you're comfortable with to buy like a brand new car straight out. But hopefully these little tips and, you know, my process of going through the used car purchase help someone who's out there looking to buy one. I want to say it's a tedious process, but I feel like in the end, if it works out, then it's a purchase that's well worth it, because I know I was spending about $200 a month on public transportation and Uber, and now I've budgeted that I'll be spending about $180 a month on insurance and gas. So a car actually work to my benefit because I purchased it cash and because I bought it used. So hopefully this video helped, and I want to thank you guys again so much for watching. I do plan on making more outdoorsy videos like at the beach and stuff like that, so you'll see that in the coming weeks.